My name is Brian Broussard. I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. This is Broussard's I'm Your Huckleberry. His call name's Huck. He's 9.5 years old, and he's SRS amateur champion, Grand Hunting Retriever champion, and Master Hunter. This is the culmination for me of all the hard work you do training these athletes and trying to get them where they need to be to at least get here. I mean, it's something I work hard for, and I'm just so proud of him, and I'm proud to be here.
And welcome to another special episode of Behind the Line here at the 2023 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. Hello everyone, I'm David Hamilton alongside Luke Coor and Pat Burns, and with us today is Brian Broussard. Brian, you and your dog Huck come in here, you finished 6th, you have to be proud of Huck in the second crown that he's qualified for, but you didn't get to run him a couple years ago. It was a family wedding. This time, Huck qualifies again. You get to come back, bring your dog Daisy and Huck ends up finishing 6th place. Got to be pleased with that.
I'm very tickled with the old man. I was a little worried about his physical abilities to make it, but I mean, he made it all the way through, plowed through some really difficult tests, and I'm very proud of it.
When you talk about Huck's physical abilities, I know Huck a little bit better than some of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of explain what Huck's had in the past. He's suffered some injuries and kind of stuff, and kind of talk us through what happened and how you work on that now.
Okay. In 2021, while training one day, Huck blew out his left rear cruciate, so he tore his CCL. So I had surgery done with him, and then of course, 6 months of therapy and getting him back physically to where he can start to compete. When that time came, my third time out training, 50-yard little mark, he blew his right one out. So I went right back to the surgery, and then another 6 or 7 months of getting him back in physical condition to where I can start again. Almost retired him, but my wife put some pressure on me to let him come out and have some fun, and I'm glad I did because he had a great year this year, So, I didn't know whether he would be able to have the stamina to do it because he is suffering from some arthritis, and so I just use daily maintenance meds to try to keep him going. So
that's great. So Huck did have a great year. He got a win this year, and he got his SRS amateur title. A lot of us know Huck, and you based on his titles, he's more of a hunt test dog, what you would say. And looking back at your scores, your 2 strongest scores that brought you to the finals actually came from the field trial series.
Mm-hmm.
Did you change the way you prepared this year, and did you focus more on the longer stuff in the white coat to where you feel like your weakness became your strength?
I did. I mean, I've done probably more white coat training this year than I usually do, just getting ready for this because he is a hunt test kind of dog. And I tried to do a lot of water work with him, and I did run some longer stuff. And so, I mean, Huck loves to run. He'll run. I mean, he just loves to go. And so, it kind of came natural to him. I mean, he likes to go long. In all honesty, even though I haven't really done the white coat stuff, but he likes to go long. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
So, did you find when he got better at the long stuff, he struggled at the short stuff?
Not really. Mr. Pat, with Huck, his nemesis has always been kind of the water. He can do the short water stuff, but long entries, big water, he's always struggled with. And so, I don't feel it made it any difficult for him to do the short stuff, but going long, I think even helped drive him toward wanting to cheat and run around to get to things faster. So that's a constant struggle with Huck. And me. So something I work on constantly, but it's hard to stop an old man. Like that. So watching outdoor games. I've always had duck dogs, but when I first saw that, I was like, I was blown away by what a retriever could do, and that's really what got me interested in it. And it took me a while to get to actually start running the SRS. Huck is actually my first ever hunt test dog. Got him from a puppy and started training and running HRC events and master events. And then when I thought he was ready, I put him in the SRS. Oh, he's been great. He's had a good year. This year I'm so proud of him for what he's done this year. He actually blew his cruciate out, his left cruciate, when he was 7. Had the surgery done, had it repaired, had it repaired, and then third time out after 7 months of therapy and getting him back in, he blew the right one out. So he's been out of the game for 2 years, and this is his first year back, and I can't be more proud of what he's done.
Here we've got Huck and Brian Broussard from Louisiana. Brian had a great year with his dogs. He's got both of his dogs qualified for the Crown Championship, and both of them made the top 18. He titled both of them this year and got wins on both of them. So Brian's had a good year. I have my whistle in my mouth.
Boy, Brian came off that mat awful fast.
I couldn't
They didn't
tell
go to
how.
the dog, but it looked like he'd passed that decoy already by the time he came off that mat. You got to get him left.
Boy, it makes me, when they're not sitting on that whistle and they're standing up.
Those coming whistles like that are always going to be a discussion.
Oh. Well, and sometimes well, that wind is back right to left again. Or at least coming off that.
Yep.
It may be in the process of shifting. But maybe this dog always stands up on a whistle. I don't know. I tell you, it's unnerving to me, though.
Good whistle. Go verbal here. Oh, wow.
He turned the wrong way,
turned the wrong
but
way,
went
but
the
took
right
the
way.
gas. That's right.
Like, how does that happen? Well, look at.
Oh, then we got to go again. So, the handler can't see the dog when they're back there. You're getting that
No,
high
it's
point
over-
camera
just
view.
over a hump.
Yep. Brian runs a lot of hunt tests. He runs the international HRC International Grand, runs some AKC Master tests, and he's a big hunter. He likes to hunt a lot. He hunts with his son and his grandson. They spend a lot of time hunting together.
So we've had 2 dogs pick up the poison bird at this
Yep.
point.
We had and oddly enough, they're both named Rip.
That is.
I guess they're
Rip and
both going to
Black
rest in peace.
That was good. Here we go, lining up for the water blind.
Can I sell tickets to your Friday
That's
night
right.
performance?
That's right.
I'll be here all week.
That's right. Oh, a little skinny.
Yeah.
I always feel more comfortable running a water blind when I get a fat entry than a skinny entry.
Yeah.
Me too.
It kind of sets the pace, and he looks dry. I can't tell.
Is he blowing to come in there when he drops?
I think he's just straightening
Or is he
them
just
up.
trying to straighten them out? Okay.
Yeah, dog.
Two of the bigger swims we had were tight with a really tight poison bird on a water blind. Knowing that the bigger swim is kind of Huck's weakness, and that suction from the poison bird brings him to shore. What is your game plan going into a blind like that with a dog that tends to be less watery like Huck?
Yeah, with him, I mean, you can't be shy about blowing whistles. I mean, you have to stop. You have to keep him under control the whole way. And I blew a lot of whistles to try to keep him where I needed him, even though he may overcast or do a few things like that. But if you let him get loose, he'll take advantage of it. And so keeping him under control, even though it may cost you some whistles, is probably a better strategy than just turning him loose.
That
makes any sense.
That fifth series was kind of a wild and crazy one. We had a big blind involved, but there was a lot of marks going off, a lot going on.
Yeah.
You're a big duck hunter. Huck's got some experience hunting. Do you feel like being a hunting dog as well as a competitive dog brings you comfort and gives you a little bit more confidence in your dog when you come to a series like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't that worried about it. I was hoping for a big shoot 'em up kind of deal, but then that long water blind kind of threw a kink into it. So, but no, I was pretty confident with him, with the marking and his hunting. I did hunt him a lot early on in his career, and that's his game. He loves it.
So if you were watching earlier today, this was supposed to be the first dog that ran, Hank and Brian Broussard. We had a situation where Brian sent Hank on the blind, and when he got there, the bird boy had forgot to put a bird down.
Right.
So there was no bird.
Correct.
Well, as Hank came back in, he picked up the poison bird. So then there was a discussion of how do they handle this? They're going to have a rerun. They're scoring him he will be scored from the point when he picks up the blind and brings it back. So he's already been scored to the blind.
Correct.
His
He's been scored on
scoring will
one mark.
commence.
One mark.
He's had one mark and the blind, or the retrieve of the blind, but he has not brought it back yet. Once he picks up the blind, he will be scored from that point forward on this run.
All right, here I have a question. You've been scored on the blind. You pick up the poison bird this time.
Repeat that.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Here's the rerun. We got to do the whole test over.
You have to do the whole
okay,
test,
okay,
but
gotcha,
the one mark
gotcha.
and the blind has
You've
already
been
been scored.
scored on the blind.
But on
if
this
you pick
attempt,
up the poison bird on the way out to the blind, on this attempt,
yeah.
well, you can't. I mean,
You can't. I gotta
you
believe it.
can't.
Even though you've been scored on it, that's the one thing you can't do.
That idea hadn't even occurred to me. That's why when you asked the question, I'm like, repeat that. I'm thinking, okay.
I'm thinking, like, what are all the scenarios?
Yeah, what are the possibilities here in this thing?
Here's the next question. Has he been scored on all his behavior in the holding blind already, too?
Yeah, I don't think you can take 25 here. I think there's no way. I think the dog can do whatever the
The
heck
dogs
he
are
pleases
all,
at this
yeah,
point.
other.
This is all window dressing right now. It doesn't really matter. Look, the
Other
judges
than
are
if you
sitting
pick up
down.
the poison bird.
Well, I don't think picking up the point. I think if you, man, I don't know what can you do in that situation?
In that situation, I don't know what you do, because you're right. If you pick it up on the return, it's obvious it's picking up the poison bird. If you pick it up on the go to the blind, well, one could argue I've already been scored on my trip out to
the
the
first
blind.
time.
Wow.
We'll see. Oh, Pat's just got a stick over here, just stirring the pot of controversy.
Man.
You know what?
So right there, Pat, this is exactly why. If I would have been judging, I'd have had him put that dang bird back right where it began, scored him on that blind, as if he'd never picked it up on the way back, and continued the test.
You would have had
then
to make,
you take that what if
but you
out.
would have had to make that decision because there was such a delay in their discussion that it wasn't fair for this dog to have to sit there while they talked about it. So they would
Gentlemen,
have.
at the
Well, I
risk
mean-
of making a dad joke, we are here in Louisiana, and every gumbo needs some pepper. So this drama today just gave our gumbo some pepper, y'all. Here we go.
Tell you what, if it were me, I'd play this as left as I could. You're not going to get one thing. You're not going to get hit for is
Right.
being outside the corridor.
Right.
So the only thing that could go wrong here is picking up the poison bird. And you have to retrieve the blind though,
Right.
because you have to deliver it.
Correct.
Now I wonder how much the judges, how much information they gave him on what he's been scored on and what he's expected to do.
I'm sure they told him if they told me. Because if he was sitting over there listening.
Right. Sure. I'm sure they did too.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they'll explain on, especially if it's on a set of marks, you have to attempt to pick them up in the same order. Well,
Right.
that doesn't really play out here.
Right.
At least that's the rules in field trials. Well, he's dead on line. Ooh, now don't. He's got a. Uh-oh, gentlemen. Okay, all right. Okay. He took a. I don't know if he was just sitting that way, but he sure looked like he was looking at it. But he kicked out of there well.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's not much different than the first time. Didn't he pop up pretty far right the first time?
Yep.
He did. No, this
did.
is a pretty good rerun here.
But you got to get the blind. Where is he? Okay, there he is. All right, I lost sight of him for a minute.
All right.
Boy, it's a tough look out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, these shadows have really changed the complexion of this test.
I'm not sure Brian sees him.
He's
There's
giving big walking, unless he's behind the tree from our angle.
He's right here. You can see him in the middle of the screen because we have the jib, but I'm not sure he can see him.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, okay, here he comes. He's right next to the right-hand pine tree. There he kicks.
Come on, Dad, there's not one there. I picked it up already.
Boom. Okay, so now that he has the blind and he is bringing it back, now the judges on
Correct.
the return are starting to score
Yeah.
Brian's run here.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to really score on the return.
Unless he doesn't
picks up
deliver
that
the bird.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is he comes by this poison bird if anything were to happen there. But
Once again, these judges have tried to be as fair as they can to every dog.
Amen.
You gotta love that. That's all you can ask for. Okay. Now it's a raw test. Did you see what happened out there, David? There was no poison bird down. They intentionally picked it up when he ran that blind. So that, because they had already scored,
got it. They put it back out there.
they
as
put
he
it
was
back
coming
out there after he came back. So it does play a role in the marks, but didn't play a role in the blind.
Perfect. I think that's as fair as you can be.
Absolutely. God, he got up there, but he didn't come up with that bird.
I thought he had it, and I was like, wait, there's nothing in his mouth.
I'll tell you what, he's...
Man,
He wants to keep coming down the bank instead of going up it.
Well, he's found one bird in the water, and he's about to handle on this bird. I think. Yeah.
I think the dog was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
I think that was a confusion pop.
You know, and he handled right. Didn't he handle there or no?
Oh, he's handling that.
But initially, yeah, well,
I don't know. I couldn't hear the whistle.
There he is right there. So he's going for the long middle bird. I guess I call it the middle bird. Some people might call this an up and out bird, when you get a bird that's up and out of the water, like this. And oftentimes the tendency is to not drive once they get out of the water. Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a pop down there. You see the dog just gave a peek then.
yeah. But now he's on, he's in a... You get the bird there, though. He's right about at it.
Turned out pretty nice, I think.
They take the average of all three, judges, the points.
Well, yes, basically. The judges, they all agree on a score. It's
Okay, I
not
gotcha.
necessarily always the
Okay.
average.
All right. So before they write a score down in the book, they've agreed upon it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you got the left bird clean, so that's the last bird of this event.
So-
Let me ask you a question. Do you
Yes, sir.
think that water blind in the 5th series would have been equally as difficult with just one poison bird? Or do you think it was significantly made more challenging because you had so many birds they watched before they had to do the blind?
You know, for me, I mean, Huck didn't even look at that left-hand poison bird. I mean, he didn't even. It was a no factor when I sent him on the way, and actually he handled, you know, both poison birds on that pretty good. It was getting back into that big water behind that levee and going is where I figured I would have the challenge, and that's exactly where it did. You know, I ran into a little snafu because there wasn't a bird planted for that blind, and so I thought he had it. I couldn't tell because I knew he made it to the pole.
Right.
And when he was coming back, he was in a dead run coming back, and I thought, well, he's got it, and you just couldn't see that far. And then when he popped up over that levee and I saw that he didn't have that bird in his mouth, I mean, my heart sunk, you know, and so I stopped him and cast him back, but he was looking right there, that big flasher, right at the base of that levee, and I couldn't get him off. But thankfully, you know, the judges, they were really just with the decision they made when I got the rerun for it, so it worked out pretty good.
Did you have any different strategy on your rerun than you had initially?
Not really, Mr. Pat. I really thought Huck would do about what he did the first time, to be honest. You know, I didn't have to worry about the corridor because I'd already hit the corridor on the first run, the first blind, the first attempt. And so I didn't have to worry about it. He missed it on the left. If I did have a strategy, it was to try to keep him as far left in that corridor, whether he hit it or not. And that's what I did. But he did just what I expected. He cheated a little bit and come out, you know, short of the mark. So, not really. You know, I was more focused on, because I had the score for the blind already, I was more focused on making sure that he saw the marks when they came out. You know, so that was what I did.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. No contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
The Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission is here to help you with your amateur, collegiate, professional, or Olympic sporting event. Centrally located in the Arklatex area, Shreveport-Bossier is a premier sports destination, ideal for hosting sporting events of any size. With our wide variety of venues, including stadiums, convention centers, rivers, and universities, we are sure to have the perfect location for any event. Our team is ready to make your event a success. Visit us online at ShreveportBossierSports.com or on Facebook at Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission and let us host your next event.
The moniker of SRS is the best sporting dogs on the planet, and they are absolutely the best sporting dogs on the planet. You know, what these dogs have to do, the collage of factors and marks and blinds. You know, I mean, you may run a quad that's, you know, no longer than 60 yards, and then turn around the very next series and run a 350-yard mark. You know, you're in and out of water. You may have to do a 150-yard swim. The challenge that these dogs have to go through, and then to be able to compete against the best of the best in the country, is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. It'd be a blessing. I think he'd tell me to calm down and take it one bird at a time. You know, I know that's what he'd tell me, because I think I'm more nervous than he is, you know, on the line. I know that's what he'd do. He'd tell me, be still, be calm, and let's get this done, one bird at a time.
You said, obviously, Huck's got some years on him. He's recovering from 2 surgeries. He's got a little bit of arthritis. Is this the last we're going to see of Huck, or are we going to see Huck competing in Super Retriever Series again next year?
Well, I'm going to let Huck tell me that. You know, if I feel he's physically capable to do it, he's going to come. I don't think my wife would let me not let him come, you know, to be honest. So
Well, we hope he's here next year, but if not, what a
Yep.
way to go out, finishing 6th, making it to the finals here in
Absolutely.
2023. So, Brian, congrats again to you and Huck
Yep.
here at the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship. A 6th place finish. Got to be proud of that, and we're proud for you, sir.
Thank y'all very much.
Good job.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck at the Grand.
We good? All right. Thank you.
Drive safely.